met Stanislaw Ignacy Vitkevitz 5 or 6 years before the start of the Second World War. Stanislaw was undoubtedly one of the precursors of the philosophy of existence. To the Marxists, the phenomenologists, and to most of all, the neo-positivists, Stanislaw's theories were metaphysics. They were an accumulation of empty propositions that did not permit verification. Stanislaw was an extraordinary and splendid man, but his extraordinariness and splendor belonged to another epoch. As a man, writer, and artist, Stanislaw seems to me like a dazzling relic of the beginning of the 20th century who had strayed into more contemporary times. As a playwright, Stanislaw was a quarter of a century ahead of his time. It was not until the Revolution brought about by Beckett and Ionesco in the 1950s did such dramaturgy, such vision become acceptable to the most sophisticated.
Hey, excuse me. Excuse me.
I'm sorry, but we'll be saving questions until the end. Thank you. Where was that? Yes, Stanislaw Ignacy Vitkevitz. I knew of several of his novels and a few of his plays that had been circulating in manuscript copies. I had seen many of his paintings. Stanislaw Ignacy Vitkevitz. The Casey, name he created for himself. Yeah. Security! Can we have him removed, please?
What the hell are you talking about? Stanislaw Ignacy Vitkevitz? An extraordinary and splendid man? Really?
You have a different opinion?
I am one of Ignacy's ex-personal friends. Well, as personal as you can become with him. For weeks I'm eating dinner at his house, having wonderful, insightful discussions. But the next thing I know, I find no trace of him at our next planned meal. Not a trace. I am left in the darkness for days until a letter from him arrives explaining that I have been ranked down on his list of acquaintances and he no longer wishes to see me. Was it something I said?
Well, if you would have let me finish. No genius is without his quirks.
Quirks is quite right.
That's another one of you. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain in your seats. Sir, I'm going to ask you to return to the audience.
I had been a one-time dinner guest of Ignacy's. I was working for a small magazine and had written an article on his theory on pure form when he first invited me to his home, where he showed me his strange collection of kings and umbrellas of famous women, artists, and politicians. It was odd, but really something memorable. I was caught under the spell of Ignacy, and I couldn't wait until our next meal. When I received one of his famous letters, I was sure there had been a mistake. I remember staring at the word enemy for a long time. It seemed a little harsh, and it really hit me deep down for some reason. Well, I can be really idiot sometimes. He made an enemy of me as well, and I made it my journalistic goal to discredit Ignacy as much as I possibly could. Nobody who read my work would think his plays were anything more than pure nonsense.
I'm sorry for whatever personal misgivings you may have had towards him. You were absolutely correct in saying he'd be rather outlandish. The Casey was undoubtedly eccentric, borderline unstable man. That being said, you must remember he was an anti-futurist, a man ideologically stuck in the past, working with the creative medium of the future, a walking juxtaposition of a man. Could you not expect some idiosyncrasies? This was a man, a writer, a philosopher, who helped pioneer avant-gardism and theater of the absurd before anyone else thought to do so.
Some idiosyncrasies? Really?
Dear God, what did I do to deserve this?
Ignacy always had a peculiar joy for dressing as other people. He became famous for dressing as a demon and trying to frighten newcomers. I foolishly let myself grow attached to him. Unfortunately, a man that believes his entire life is a play cannot be capable of loving another individual. To him, I was just another character in the sick, twisted story he had crafted around himself.
Well, his life for a play, it would have been a tragedy. He committed suicide shortly after the Nazi invasion.
I remember him trying to get me to do it with him, which I foolishly attempted. Luckily, I managed to come to my senses and survive. I'll always love him. I'll always listen. But the man is a dangerous lunatic.
Okay. He was drugged, tortured even. But his works speak for themselves, and he was never taken seriously as a dramatist in his time.
Nor should he have been.
Go ahead, I was finished.
He was not some tragic figure. To everyone I knew, he was regarded as an eccentric practical joker, out to stir up society with absurd titles, characters, and settings that make no sense and wildly unclear plots and dialogue. rise of movies and the silver screen. This man wasn't a genius, but he certainly wasn't crazy either. He knew exactly what he was doing. He was an agitator. His world was dying, so he decided to write for the purpose of tearing down the new one and destroying the integrity of the cinema. You are portraying him as some sort of anarchist out to destroy civilization. I love democracy. I knew him better than all of you. Take the crazy locomotive, for example. The play follows absolutely absurd and deranged individuals searching for a higher realm in the mundane world. Try telling me that isn't a reflection of him. You said it yourself. The play is about the mundanity of society and the destruction of it. His vendetta against a world that outcasted him, not to mention a thinly veiled attempt at making a mockery of the movies.
Try telling me a tortured genius didn't write that.
The play is ramblings of a madman.
The play's about
No,
nothing.
you don't.
It's
Oh
for
my gosh, we're
Let's go! Everybody, don't care. Let's go. Come on, people. Let's go. Let's just grab the introduction.
Hey!
Every time. Whatever you thought about him, no denying the world was a little bit more exciting for him. I used to hold his hand and look ahead, try to see what he saw. Sometimes I catch little glimpses. I'm not sure if I like it as such, but I'm sure that I miss it.
I'm sorry.
Don't. The world just wasn't meant for people like him.
Okay, wait a minute. I still don't know. Was he a genius? Was he a nutcase? Did he hate the film industry? What?
You be the judge. Ladies and gentlemen, Stanislaw Ignacy Vitkovich, the crazy locomotive.
Thanks, Julia.
Where's Mr. Tenser?
He and his wife have gone down to the station for a beer, but you didn't come here to see him.
And what if I did? What would you know about it, you poor fool? Just look at you, you're covered with coal from head to foot.
Just don't go too far or I'll really get mad.
Do whatever you want. I'm not stopping you. You're always threatening to kill me anyway.
If only I could explain it all to you, everything would be different.
Tell me then. I'm not afraid.
Why, the Tensors are coming.
What's the steam pressure, Nicholas?
6.5 atmospheres, Mr. Tensor.
Soak up the fire. Say, I have a feeling I'll need enough steam for 6 compounds. Once it gains momentum, this beast races along the Frank's cliff with lacks pulling power. And they've even gone and attached a sleeping car. Julia, you look very attractive today. Perfectly diabolical. But not just diabolical, nor just blonde, but perfectly diabolical. Oh, for one, for this locomotive of mine, everything would be different. It holds me back, otherwise I'd blow up like a hand grenade. Let me alone.
Oh, Mr. Tenser, always saying such crazy things. Yes, he's always making up some kind of nonsense, but really he's gentle as a lamb. I can't stand such docile men. You must be joking. I never joke. I was unfaithful to him yesterday with the brakeman on the Nord Express, and he didn't even bat an eye. Who, your husband or the brakeman?
Not so funny. So listen then, Nicholas.
Sophia, I've asked you not to speak this way. You're corrupting my fiancé.
Don't be stupid, Nicholas. I've already been corrupted. I'm well taken care of in that department.
Shut up, you damn lump girl.
All aboard! Let's go! Let's get this train moving!
We're off. On the steam injectors, 7 degrees in the water gauge, and
7 degrees, Mr. Tensor, isn't that too much?
now let's take off our masks. We're on our desert island again. Robinson Crusoe and his man Friday.
Mr. Tensor, we need to settle things once and for all. Putting aside other, more important matters, are you by any chance in love with my fiancé?
My dear Nicholas, first throw some more coal on, then we'll talk.
Mr. Tensor, the pipe.
What do I care about pipes? You see, I'm just an ordinary engineer the same way you're just an ordinary fireman.
That remains to be seen.
Ever since we got on this locomotive, everything's been going well. Except for the minor problem of the next station. We are alone on this iron beast, totally isolated from the rest of the world. We're not only rushing through space, we are intensely aware of it. As Leonard said, there is simply no such thing as a relativity of motion for the locomotive engineer. He knows it's not the landscape that soaks up in oils, because it's not the landscape that's moving, but its own locomotive. And the same thing applies to everything that lives and moves. Even a flea's existence disproves all the laws of physics. And that's why the scientific view of relativity can never correspond to reality.
Mr. Tensor, either you're digressing or you're joking.
We only know too well where these rails will lead us. I'd much rather use a boat, but I don't like water and all the problems connected with it. Unfortunately, piracy is no longer possible these days.
So what you're truly after is solid financial gain, obtained not altogether legally.
Oh no, I didn't realize quite what I was saying. Anyhow, a ship would be too much to handle, and a boat would be too small. There is simply no solution.
8.5, Mr. Tensor. Isn't that too much?
It can go up to 10. I'm going to need more and more steam from now on, although I don't know exactly why yet. Ever since this morning, a kind of vague plan has taken shape up in my mind.
That's strange. Ever since this morning, I've been thinking of strange and extraordinary things too, but I couldn't tell you exactly what they were. Only action, not contemplation, can make it clear to us. But we have so few chances to do something truly extraordinary, if you rule out what you call psychological aberration, Mr. Tensor.
That's been my experience too. You're right. I love Julia, but I love my wife too, although I see her more as a part of my various activities. To me, Julia is the essence of all feminine charm and mystery, in spite of, or perhaps because of her stupidity. But is any of this really very significant? Here, on this pile of metal, things seem quite different. Perhaps we put that other view sheer inertia, and yet, at the same time, do everything from this locomotive hurtling through space. That's the problem.
Yes, I was thinking the very same thing myself, but I didn't have it worked out so clearly. I read a handbook on Einstein's theory. The transformation of coordinates, the relativity of everything, all that.
But here the question arises, should we be looking from the ground at the engine, or from the engine at the ground? Let me put it to you quite frankly. Say it were possible to transfer life onto this locomotive, how would that be? Of course, the objection could be raised, why not the sleeping car or the diner instead? But still, there is a wide gulf between the locomotive and the rest of the train.
Yes, of course, even I understand the difference. After all, what is life for women, ours, and other people's? That eternal rectangle of the husband, the wife, and the engaged couple, traveling endlessly on the locomotive. Apropos, Mr. Kessler, as soon as we step aboard this engine island, I'm no longer mad at you. Not even about Julie. Here, I'm the fireman. I have my own position in the world, and I couldn't put up with any other boss. Everything goes along smoothly here, but it's two-dimensional, like the surface of a painting. Everything seems frozen, even though it's moving. Funny, isn't it?
Don't make fun of it, Nicholas. It's not so silly as it seems. I suppose it could be done, but only once. It can never be done again, never reverse. Yes, I think I got it now. That vague plan of mine.
That means death.
How do you know?
92 miles an hour, another half mile, and we'll reach the point of diminishing returns.
Don't try to teach me how to drive this engine. Your job is to stoke. Hurry up, Mr. Slovak. More coal. How do you know my plan means death? I don't picture anything as definite as that.
It's there.
Such a dumb animal, yet so sensitive to everything. More coal.
Close the damn throttle and apply the brakes. Or we'll be derailed at the next turn.
To tell you the truth, for me, a woman is only a symbol, visible proof of the fleeting moment. And what's more, I admit, I am a professional seducer. But it's really my way of determining the principal moment inertia of the body in relation to its axis.
But I thought you were something more important than that.
Well. No matter how much nonsense you talk, you can still never be nonsensical enough to get at the mystery of existence. Lunatics know that, and so do those on the verge of lunacy.
I'm going to take a chance and tell you something. I'm not Slovak. He had been lying in his grave for a long time now. I've been living his life for him with the aid of his papers. I am Travayak.
So you're the great Trebek, sought out in vain by police all over the world. I did have you arrested at Dumbbell Junction.
I didn't think that you...
Let go of that revolver, Mr. Trebek. I was only joking. To a criminal of your stature, I too can make my introductions. I am Prince Karl Trafalgar. I too can be arrested at any station.
Yes, my intuition has never been wrong. If it had, I would have brought it away in some prison a long time ago. You know, what has been an inspiration to me, my works, perhaps the two of us, together, could rise above the turbulent pulp of international depravity.
Yes, all those crimes before me, and especially the consequences. Of course, I'm not talking about prison without inner consequences. Nowadays, crime stunts the growth of human personality, and despite my seeming simplicity, I am much too complicated to try and lead a normal life. And now, there's Julie. Oh, don't be offended. Listen to me, Trebek. We've got to do something really diabolical, not to others, but to ourselves, right now without further delay. To put it bluntly, I am in love with your fiancé, but without a really atrocious accident, I can't seem to get started. And at least here, on this pile of metals, I'm racing ahead, and that calms me down a little. I no longer find my wife attractive.
What, do you mean Irma Abracadabra? The famous chanteuse from beastly Atoll, New York? The partner of all your crimes?
Yes, the very same. She cut her hair short. Wears a pretty nose.
Yes, of course, we all have to be changing constantly, but just think that while we're up here talking about all this, there's someone back there in one of those cars reading about a story just like ours in a murder mystery from the local lending library. Funny, isn't it?
It's possible, but such coincidence doesn't diminish either the greatness of our thought or the strangeness of our meaning. And now, let's get down to business.
To be quite frank with me, Carl, I'm prepared for whatever happens.
We've got to take some kind of action tonight.
Like a duel or God's judgment. Good, that serves my purposes.
That's why I'm pushing the throttle down.
But what about the train? The lives of all those people?
That's from you, a man, or rather a beast on whose conscience there are at least 30 absolutely monstrous, or rather absolutely glorious murders.
But in those days I had certain real goals.
We can't go back to our former lives and just think how satisfying it will be if one of us lives through this episode. The survivor will be able to burn the dead corpse of all his guilt and feel absolutely secure.
All right, I agree. If we pass through Dumbbell Junction without an accident, we're sure to meet another victim. According to the timetables, our paths are bound to cross. There's nothing between the stations to stop the other train. But what if we both survive? It would be a rather awkward situation.
I hadn't thought of a possibility of being maimed, but I guess it's too late for such speculation. I'm letting the engine go full steam ahead.
I planned a little surprise for you. You weren't expecting, were you? Mrs. Kensler's coming along on all fours behind me. We jumped on at the last minute. It was difficult crossing over the buffers. Why are you going so fast? It's crazy. There's a station just a little way ahead.
We'll find out soon enough to see whether you're up to the high stakes we're playing for.
High stakes? What sort of nonsense is that? Have you already turned off all that chartreuse I gave you? You'll have to hide us till we get to the next station under the coal or somewhere.
It's happening. Our dreams are coming true. You've got to tell the truth. Erna! Listen to me. I'm in love with Julia. Trevelyac and I are carrying out God's judgment. We're letting the engine go full steam ahead at breakneck speeds. If we live through this, fine. If we're ground up in a mincemeat, so much the better. I can't go on constantly being threatened by this blackmail. You see, I think you're going to die soon, and you're the only person my conscience would let me kill. You see, I love you my own way. You've been a good partner and a good friend. But I think you're destined to die in an accident. You came on your own free will. It is not my fault.
Trevelyac, Siegfried. Have you gone mad? You're suffering from hallucinations.
It's Trevelyac, not Slovak. The great Trevelyac. Take a good look at him. We read about him in Bulldog magazines. All masks are off.
Oh my God. Mr. Slovak, he's got to be put away. Oh, why did I ever let myself be talked into doing such a ridiculous thing? It's your fault. You snake. You were the one who persuaded me to jump on the train. Really, I didn't know anything about this. But here I am. And we're together. And I couldn't be happier. Oh, but what a pity you're not a criminal too, like Nicholas. He's even worse! Let go of me, you ape! Carl, save me! Close of God, I still have a lot to live for!
Here, Trevelyac, tie her up. It's the first time in her life she's ever forgotten her manners.
I'll help you. Please, Carl! Put on the brakes! I still have a great deal to live for! I've had enough of your dirty, rotten tricks!
To settle the question whether or not I'm a criminal, let me take the liberties of introducing myself. I am Prince Carl Trifaldi. Isn't that quite enough?
No. It's you, Trifaldi, the most notorious criminal in the world. Oh, how perfectly marvelous! Oh, I've always dreamed of something really extraordinary happening to me, like in the movies.
What about me? Don't I count for something? Don't my crime mean anything to you? Be careful, Julia. I could kill His Highness and stop this train at any moment.
I love you. Both. Now I'm really in love for the first time with both of you. In this moment, both of you
couldn't back up our plan now, could we?
You can already see the signals at Dumbbell Junction.
8.5 atmospheres, 122 miles an hour. I have a feeling we're not going to have an accident. I can just picture the faces of those imbeciles waiting for the train.
Oh, wonderful. It's stupendous to be with two famous criminals seconds before the crash. This is really living. I'm so excited I could burst. I just can't wait till it happens.
If we have anything more to say to one another, we better say it quickly. We're going so fast, I don't know whether or not we'll be derailed to the next station.
What more is to be said? 11 atmospheres, 130 miles an hour. My head is rushing into the enemy like a bullet on its trajectory.
Well, I say, I feel marvelous. I've never done anything so exciting in my whole life. I'm supposed to be such a hysterical woman, but I'd be willing to die 1,000 times for a moment like this.
As for me, I have nothing more to say. I'm only an extension of this throttle, as if my thoughts have been spitted and skewered onto this iron lever. But it's more than that. I've become the engine. I'm the one that's racing through space like a bull, ready to impale myself on the blades of my destiny. Yes, it's really a momentous occasion. They'll put a sign up over our heads. Do not touch. Danger, high voltage. If someone sitting on firm ground were to touch me, they'd fall on dead as though struck by lightning. Is this the beginning of mechanized madness?
I'm amazed at your modesty, Carl. First they tell us you have nothing to say, then you tuck your head up.
But all my talk is negative. I have nothing positive to say. I'm only a moving image projected on the screen of the endless void. If the engine were to suddenly stop, I would die.
Oh, stop psychoanalyzing yourself. Real men are always like that. Unfortunately, even supermen like you. This is the only time in our lives where we can really gorge ourselves in reality. In our everyday lives, we only get scraps, and crumbs, and leftovers. And that's all there is. But now I have everything. I'm not waiting for anything anymore because I already have it. I've got both of you and this kernel of death that's in me, it's in you, and in this crazy engine. But in that other life, could I have ever had you in some ordinary hour of some ordinary room, in some ordinary night? I see through you, you filthy slut! I know perfectly well what you want, you rotten little gutter-sniping gluttonous hunk of vulgar horse flesh. Carl, I appeal to you for the last time.
We're coming to the station. I can't let go of the throttle. Throw that trash out. It's got no soul. Why let us spoil these precious moments with us with our dumpy talk?
Carl!
The first semaphore is clear. All the crossings are clear. All the roads are clear. The second semaphore is signaling the line is occupied. That means number 50 is rushing towards us. The crucial moment is drawing near.
Everything's going well. If only my head didn't feel so insanely empty, I'd really be happy.
Somebody just jumped on the moving train. He must be crazy. He will ruin everything.
Who could possibly be as crazy as we are? We're in a class by ourselves. We're unique. We're colossal. At last I understand what true greatness is. Oh, how grateful I am to you. Oh, how I love you both.
If number 50 late, it could be real trouble. Who knows what turn this disaster may take if our president who deserts us?
If this goes on any longer, it might not turn out so well. In fact, it could turn out quite badly.
Someone's crawling along the tender.
Come on, get it up here! Something must have happened to the brakes. I told you not to give up hope. Come on, we will help them.
To shoot or not to shoot, I'm not anxious to commit any more crimes. There's a whole gang crawling up here.
Don't shoot, it'll come out all right.
Nicholas, he is backing down. He's leaving it all up to fate.
Look, I'm doing 130 miles an hour, and you're still not satisfied? Well, you're insatiable!
high speed, nothing can stop it. Also, the telephone line at number 20 was cut. The guards were talking about it at the station.
Nothing beautiful can exist in this world. The human animal always interferes and spoils everything.
So it's don't give up hope, is it? Well, damn, I forgot about the telephone and I work for the railroad. So it's don't give up hope, is it? We always counted on speed saving us. That imbecile in the freight train wouldn't be able to back up 130 miles an hour.
What are you talking about? She is the lunatic. Have you gone crazy too? Can't you stop the engine? Tell me what I must do and I will do it. Hurry.
You've come at just the right time. The throttle's jammed. We need a lever to stop the train. Hand me your rifle. Wonderful. Now beat it. The situation's getting more and more complicated, but we'll manage somehow. Now don't move, or I will blow your brains out.
They really are lunatics. This madness is contagious. It's becoming universal. Someone must do something soon or we are lost. I can do no more. I am run out from catching train. I'm completely bushed.
Is there anyone who has the courage to go after these murderers? In 5 seconds it may be too late. We'll be killed anyhow unless someone comes to our rescue.
I beg and beseech you. My brother, Bean, is only a bank clerk. Tis true he has the reputation of being mad because of 90 pigs roasted paintings, but in spite of this, he jumped on a moving train to save me of the same hope as while he's at it. 100 miles an hour he was beaming at the station with a bouquet of flowers. Can you understand what this means? I was the first one in our car to close the alarm.
But not one of us has a gun. How could anyone have foreseen this? Such a respectable company. And now we're getting closer and closer to death every second. Death on all sides. It's enough to drive you out of your mind.
Oh, God! Mr. Guster, what's going on in this train? Nobody has any idea what's happening. The passengers think the train is supposed to pass right by the station. In the rear car, no one has tickets to Dumbbell Junction. They've gone mad! It's all due to drinking! I don't have a gun either.
Oh, for God's sakes, conductor, let's not waste time arguing. We're not at the theater watching a play. You have to help us somehow. After all, I know you personally.
I don't have any idea what to do. I don't even know where the steering wheel is. All I do is punch tickets and check whether they've already been punched. Specialization is a great source of our aim. Wouldn't you agree?
Mr. Guster, we're personally acquainted too, but in a rather odd sort of way. I attacked you on the street one night. And even though we've never been formally introduced, could you see about getting these handcuffs taken off? I used to be an engineer.
Take his handcuffs off.
Hey, but then I'll have you released from prison. My uncle's a prosecutor at Appalachian Court. I fell in love with the fireman 2 minutes ago. He's my type. I found him at last. I've got to let him away from that moment. We can live together for the rest of our lives without any interference. I want to live. Don't you understand? Fireman, did you hear that?
You know, the girl's a real addition to the group. Make the situation more varied.
Several separate destinies fatally meet at one point. It's almost mathematically inevitable. There's nothing more to say on the subject other than the cliche second-rate dramatist used to pat the back of his plates. We'll just wait and see. Right now, I wonder if we'll have enough courage. Julie, you won't be false to us, will you? If you live through this?
Never. I'm a superwoman from another world. What makes me furious, they've ruined such a wonderful experience for us. You disgusting phony! Now I couldn't take you to hold out your hands and fight.
Carl! Come here by the throttle. They're so desperate they're capable of anything.
Carl, he's been Siegfried all his life.
Not all of it, my friend. If you live through this with even more surprises.
You think we're worthless mannequins like you? Us criminals are the only ones who count for anything in this God-forsaken world. Especially those of us who are criminals not for the sake of money or any other motive, but for the sake of crime itself.
Yes, criminals, and maybe artists are too. They're the only ones who are really alive. Of course, I only know artists through their work, but maybe criminals are too. But I don't know any lunatics. Come on, Chris. They're lunatics, aren't they? And what about you? Aren't you lunatics? Come on! I think it is joking through the influence of modern art. Right now, just pull them off to one side and I'll see what I can do. Hurry, there's something whistling on up ahead of us. Ha! It's not fun to use it for a I'll do it myself. Wretched coward! Only the biggest cowards are really brave. And that's because they're afraid. Your average coward just couldn't make it.
Conductor! What's going on? Were there a lot of people in the locomotive? Wasn't I shooting? Was it a holdup? Talk like a human being! As soon as I saw what was going on, I gave the signal to stop for both you and number 50. You must have gone right by the station or else my clock isn't running right. My wife's gone mad, she's been delirious all day, and then there's that telephone that's been out of order since 5 o'clock. I want to be held responsible for this.
I made a mistake. It's a miracle I'm still alive. My brain is like mush, and there's a hole in my head. In a minute, it'll all run up in the hole.
want anything. I don't want to see anything. I don't want to know anything. I don't know whether I'm really myself or not. Everything is strange and horrible at the same time. Nothing's what it really is. It's all something else. I don't know whether these people are really alive or not. A black abyss, soft and impersonal, is opening up before me.
She's gone out of her mind from nervous shock. She sounds exactly like my wife.
No! The engineers are really nothing but a massive power. Oh, that one there, he's the chief culprit, ban him!
Don't you see, my good man, though my guts are spilling out? The throttle went at least 12 inches into my belly. Plus, I'm still suffering from nervous shock that leader over there hit me in the head with a shovel!
Come on, Silva. We're safe and sound. Forget about that horrible woman and all the things she made you do. You're completely regained your equilibrium with me.
But what about my part in all this? It didn't go as planned, and there were witnesses. All I want is peace and quiet.
It's easy to arrange. You'll spend 6 months in a lunatic asylum. Then I'll have you released. My uncle, the prosecutor, doesn't let go. You're my type. You've got to live and go free. Although I'm a countess, I'll never find another man like you. I'll take this fireman with me on my own responsibility.
That's the way it's got to be. There's no point in fighting it. Goodbye, conductor. Fortunately, it's beginning all over again for me. We have Julia and her influences to thank for all the crazy things we've been through. But I've had enough of hysterical women to last me a lifetime. The beans were all squished into a jelly. I'm almost splattered with Sears cups. It seems to hold in a tree.
Let's go have a beer, Captain. We'll have time for quite a few before all this gets out of the ambulance thing will take care of the rest. Hopefully this doesn't start an epidemic among engineers throughout the whole world.
I know everything too. The way he does. Only the two of us know. The rest of you are all fools. I've always waited. Every time the train came by, you can't imagine what torture it is to sit and wait and watch as the trains come by and then rush away, carrying off all those passengers. Well, finally, I stopped waiting. Today at 5 o'clock, I cut the telephone line. During the night, a spirit told me I had to do it. He had a dark beard and his eyes gleamed like a cat's. He was the one I was unfaithful to my husband with during the night.
Jan, calm down and go back home. It's sickening happens when you talk that way.
Jan, why didn't I meet you sooner? I'd certainly have seduced you.
He's the one. He's the one I dreamed about during the night. First of all, I'd say this fun. He's the greatest criminal in the whole world. The famous Prince Chapati, king of murderers. At least he's got to live so we can atone for his crime to be an example to the others. The police received a telegram. He came by handcar from Dongbel Junction. He was to be arrested, sir. The public didn't suspect a thing. Damn. There's no getting around that.
Too late, doctor. Even to please the courts, I can't postpone the hour of my death. I had an inkling of it, but I swear nothing was definite. I die without any regrets, so you can cheer up. Goodbye.
President, Sie meant it most of all, because there is absolutely nothing we can do to help them.